course, you know I'm your boy Adrian, a.k.a. D.
Stubbs.
And we back at it right back here in the Takeoff, and we got some interesting folks for y'all to know, some new friends of ours, some interesting people. One, I got over here to my left. We got Dominique Walker. She's a powerhouse in the mental health space. A licensed professional counselor, serving Metro Detroit for over 9 years. She is the founder and the lead of Healing Matters, a private practice dedicated to helping individuals of color solve generational problems and create the lives they deserve. And also to her right, we got her brother, a great support system, and her field of study. We already know we got to give it up for both of these fine two guests here on the podcast. Let's give it up for them. Come on now. Snaps and claps. Welcome to the podcast, beautiful people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. It's about time. You know, we've been wanting to have people, to talk about this particular subject. We have had a person before talk about, mental health, but it was more so in the workplace.
Okay.
And your field of study is more so in general, all walks of life.
Yes.
So please tell us, just to start it off, what got you into wanting to be in this field?
Well, actually, when I first started, I thought I wanted to do sports medicine. I've always been athletic and just loved the mental part that went along with that. But then I did an internship with some young ladies at a residential facility, and it just blew my mind away. Everything they were going through, all the layers that were impacting them. And so I just kind of went off from there. And then personal experiences. Throughout high school, I had a dad who was incarcerated, so I knew what that felt like. Had some alcoholism in my family, and knew what it meant to have a lot of village and supports and people that I could lean into. And so I wanted to be that for other people.
Okay. Now let me also ask you this. The job that you're doing, does it take like a special person to do this particular job to have love for it?
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. I don't take my work home with me.
Okay.
Right? I actually love getting up in the morning and doing the work. But we do a special kind of formula over at my place. So we work in purpose. We live in purpose. So
Okay.
Purpose is where your passion and your strengths overlap.
Okay.
Right? You should love getting up and doing what you do every day, especially if there's purpose on your life. So for me, that's this, right? I'm good at talking to people. My friendships last. I'm very helpful and resourceful based on my life experience. I've been through, seen a lot of things. Grew up in 48205, right?
Okay. Shout out, salute.
So, I know where some of these people have been. And so I do think it takes a special kind of person to be able to help, not get too connected, not be drowned by all the stuff you hear. I think it takes a special kind of person.
Now, you said you don't take your work home with you. Does that mean you're cold-hearted if they call you after your clock out time? Like, yep, click?
No. We work on setting boundaries, right? And if it's important, I'll absolutely take a call, But I also would rather than you come and spill on me in that moment. We talk coping skills. We talk boundaries. We talk, can you identify where this started? And can I see you tomorrow, or can I see you later on this week? But no, I'm not cold-hearted by any means.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean in that regard.
But no, not cold-hearted. Try to encourage them to use the things that they're learning. Because if you're there and you're not practicing, what's the purpose?
Exactly.
So definitely like last week, had a young lady who is, she's postpartum, and she was having a really rough night. And I absolutely, got my son settled and went and took her call just to make sure she was okay and it wasn't anything, urgent in the way of life, life-threatening. And we set up something for the next day.
Now, before we get too deep into the conversation, I just want you to tell the people out there, if they want to get in touch with you or your services, where can they go to do that?
Yes. So my direct website is www.myhealingmatters.com. I'm also on Instagram at myhealingmatters. And one of the resources that I recommend to other people, for myself and other clinicians of color, is Therapy for Black Girls. So if you search me there, I'll be there as well.
Got you.
Yeah.
Also, I want to mention this before it slips my mind. I watch certain type of movies like The Sopranos. I don't know if you're familiar with The Sopranos at all, but even Tony Soprano went to go see a therapist. Now, I think the stigma of that stops a lot of people from going to therapy because they think it's going to be like a drama-filled relationship like that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's not a drama-filled relationship. It's only dramatic as you make it. But finding a connection with a person that you like and trust is the biggest part of therapy. building a rapport with a person who understands you and you feel safe in that space. If you don't feel safe, it's not going to work.
Because I think one of the main things why people don't go to therapy because they're scared of getting judged. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's really a main part right there. Mm-hmm. Like, dang, I don't wonder what this person's gonna think of me because I never tell anybody this.
Exactly. But honestly, that's the main reason why you go to therapy. Because I know nothing about your life. Mm-hmm. I don't know that one time you got into it with your baby mama and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know all of those things. So really, we're starting from a clean slate.
Okay.
And honestly, as much as it's important for the clients to be in a space of learning, it's also important for therapists to check themselves, right? We're not there to tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. We're there to help guide and facilitate the process and, be a sounding board in a way. But I'm not there to tell you to do it how I did it.
Facts.
That's not my job, Facts. So just creating some space where you can be heard and feel heard. And a lot of the work I've been doing lately is helping people realize how those earlier experiences in their lives impacted them now, right? So you're having troubles in your relationship now. Well, what did you learn about relationships earlier on in your life, right? And so trying to undo some of that.
Got you.
Now, I do want to know, how hard is it to convince someone they need therapy?
Oh, you know what? I made a list for y'all. Okay.
Okay.
So I think everyone could benefit from therapy. Mm-hmm. Need it? I think that's a certain kind of group, right? When we start talking about true mental health issues where we might have some like chemical things going on where you might need to talk to someone. But everyone else, there is a situation that you've experienced in your life where you could have used some support. Right?
Got you.
So having relationship challenges, whether that be, infidelity, sabotaging relationships, only dealing with people who are unavailable, allowing all the external things to give you validation about your self-worth. You can go talk that out with somebody. Seeing traumatic things in your childhood, losing people you love, not having a support system. Like, I can think of a lot of reasons why you could use therapy.
I do got to be honest with you. I'm one of those people who oppose therapy. I feel like I don't need it. A few people in my life have told me you need it, but I never had no traumatic experiences, so I don't see why. I feel like if anything, just going would create issues in my life. And I forgot where I was. Well, how do you feel about people who think like me?
I think that, but if you notice, I didn't use the word traumatic. You did, right? I didn't say trauma.
Well, I feel like my perspective of therapy is only people with experiences, most likely traumatic or some type of negative experience that gave them some type of PTSD or something, go to therapy. But to me, my life it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. But maybe I could still need it for other, therapy could still be motivational.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so. And I think let's get away from need, want, encourage, desire, whatever words you want to use. But I don't think you have to need it, right? I think you could say, hey, let's talk about it this way, from a more positive perspective. I know so many women who are becoming successful. Black women are some of the largest who are creating their businesses in entrepreneurship. And some of them have no clue how to deal with the success of it, right? I'm successful. My friends are changing. My groups that I'm in, the spaces I'm in are changing. I want to talk to somebody about how I can continue to build my self-image and still stay rooted to the community I'm from. We can talk about that. That's not a need therapy. I want some guidance and motivation and support.
Now, do you also treat men as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
That's a new thing, though. For most of my work, I've worked with women and young girls, adolescent girls, I should say. But over this last year, I had an increase in men, and it's about the relationship. We connect, we see each other, and I've been helping them work through some things as well.
Gotcha. Now, Jacoby, I got a question for you. I don't want you to be over there quiet and everything. What is the biggest ways that you support your sister with her, business
or practices?
In every way possible. Every post she make on Instagram, I repost it. If she need me to spread the word, I'm gonna spread it. Whenever she need me, I'm gonna come through.
Okay. Now, do you have any examples on how you do that? Like, do you are you right there in the offices, helping her out? Like, sis, you got this. Come on, one more day.
Not necessarily in that way, but if she need me at the office, she'll call me, let me know, like, hey, bro, I need you to pick this up or grab this for me, and I'll do that. And, some ladies that I talk to and I think they need therapy or could benefit from it, I definitely recommend her right away.
You sound like a therapist already. You getting yourself in the field too?
I have been told I could be like a little mentor or something, but you never know. I'm still young. I wouldn't shy away from it. I mean, I got the perfect example right here.
Yeah, and I helped raise him, just So
Okay, yeah, so y'all tight like that.
It's just like that. This is my everything right here.
Well, that's what's up. I'm glad. I'm actually glad to see more families, sticking in it together. And that also relates to my next question: family and mental health. How big is that? I already know. How big is that when it comes to people coming to you with their issues?
it's huge. I'm trying to figure out where to start. There's so many pieces to it, right? I have people that come and they realize how much their families experiences, sometimes chaos, sometimes the way they've supported them has impacted them. And they want the family to come in, and the family, because of our generational things, are like, we don't do therapy. We keep everything in the house, right? And so that can sometimes be very challenging for them to feel like they're standing on their own without that support. But I actually have more families coming in and say, hey, I'm willing to sit down and talk about these things that happened. Especially some parents taking more responsibility around, I was doing the best that I could, and it may not have been perfect for you, but I did what I could do for you, So I think family therapy is really important to some individuals really getting able to like stand on their feet and establish themselves and create their own families.
Got- Now, let me also ask you this: with family, do you think it's better if they come in to seek mental health together than that one person going to seek therapy by themselves?
I think everybody should have their own therapist, and then they should come and do therapy together.
Now, how does one find the best fit for their own therapist?
So we have some different resources. Like I said, therapy for Black girls is one. They have therapy for Black men. They have Psychology Today. So you can go in there, do some searches. I suggest everybody do a 15-minute consultation with a provider before they take them on. That way you can get a feel for just how they talk and what they're talking about, what their specialty is. And one of the questions, I do these monthly meetups as well, where we meet somewhere different in the community in Detroit, with the hopes of just teaching people different coping skills, different spaces around the city. And so they were saying, hey, I've had a few therapists and none of them seem like a good fit. How do I know? And one of the questions, once you have that consultation, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I would like to, gain from therapy. Have them tell you what they can do for you. They should be selling themselves to you. You owe them nothing. You know what I mean? So this is like you're in the search, and they should be marketing themselves in a way of, hey, this is how I can help you. And not begging, no, but they should be able to tell you in what ways they can support you if you work with them.
Now, I also got another question when it comes to, that type of what you just said. Now, back to we were talking about being judged, that feeling of being judged. How do you console a person with that type of fear when they want to talk to you about their deepest secrets, their deepest type of insecurities? How do you have that person feel more comfortable to open up?
I think it's time, and as you build therapeutic rapport with them, they grow more comfortable. Because all I can tell you is that I'm here and I'm not going to listen. And the only way that you know that's true is as we spend time together, right? And I tell people to try it on. Come to 3 sessions with me if we get to that place and you feel like this doesn't work for you, okay? Or if there's some things that I've even done to harm you in the way of like, well, when I said this, you kind of look this way, and I'm I could tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking last week you told me this and those things didn't make sense. So tell me what you mean about that. And I'm very good about that. Opening up that communication and letting you know why I'm asking what I'm asking.
Now, I can share a little personal something with me.
Yeah.
My problem, I overthink a lot. And overthinking is a big thing with me because when you overthinking, your mind takes you in places where it wasn't even like that. And then you all of a sudden react out of your own, what you made up in your mind.
Created.
Yeah. So could you speak on that, like overthinking and how you can deal with that?
Yeah. So in DBT, so dialectical behavior therapy, it's a theory that we use to work with individuals who have high anxiety, high depression, things like that. We focus on staying in the moment. Because a lot of times when you're overthinking, it's because you're 2 weeks ahead and we're still here, right? And so we try to teach some different coping skills around staying in the present. Because otherwise, if you go too far in the past, that's where that sadness and depression comes when you start thinking about all the things you could have done differently. And if you go too far in the present, you're getting anxious about what could be and what might not work. So it's really about staying in the present. And one of the skills I teach my clients is, we kind of call it putting a pin in it, right? So you have a thought and it's like, it's starting to snowball. You kind of, in your mind, put a dart in it. and use your facts and logic around it. So Dominique actually didn't say she didn't like that. I said that.
Right.
What she said was she'll let me know tomorrow how she feels.
Right.
Now I'm starting to put my own thoughts in there. No, you got to pin it. No, I'll wait till she tells me how she feels about that.
Why do you think people would do that overthink? Do you think we're programmed?
We want to have control because you want to anticipate what's going to happen so that you can know how to respond, so that you cannot be hurt, so that you can, right? And it's like, that's not how this goes.
Now I do want to know: are any of your clients are they ordered by the court to be there, or have you ever dealt with that?
Only in residential, and when for a while I worked at the Children's Center of Wayne County. We would sometimes get some kids who were court ordered through foster care, but not often. Most of my clients now come on their own.
And are they back then were they more reluctant to socialize and be?
It would
Open up?
depend. Sometimes it wasn't the kid, it was the parent, because they didn't want us all up in their business, right? So they were more reluctant to come and sit down and talk with us because why am I here? I didn't do anything, right? You should be talking to whoever the co-parent is. And it's like, ma'am, I'm just trying to help.
So sessions with, I guess, minors. Does the parent have to be present by law? Okay.
They don't have to be there, no. But sometimes we would do family sessions as
Okay.
well. So we would do individual and some family. I don't know. And even that, how I see that situation is you don't want to be here. You're being court ordered to be here. What can I do to help with what you see the problem is? Right? Forget about what the court's saying. Right now, you're saying, I miss seeing my daughter every day, but when she comes back, I want her to have some set of rules. Let's work on that. We don't have to work on the other stuff. We can work on what you feel is important right now. Because therapy should be client-led. It shouldn't be about what I want. It should be about what you see as the concern.
Now I do got another question. Say if somebody was doing an intervention with someone, who should lead it? Should they call a therapist, or is there somebody else better for that position to?
Oh, you mean like if the family said we about to sit down and talk about it?
Like if the family say, "Hey, we got a uncle. We trying to get him to stop doing drugs." What should they call a therapist to come help assist and keep everybody in a? Or is there another type of individual to call for that type of matter?
That's a good question. Because I would not legally, especially if that's not my client, and we haven't built any kind of rapport.
I mean, it could be just for a friend looking out for. Well, I don't know.
But I couldn't really step into that not knowing, I don't know the uncle or whoever. You know what I mean? I couldn't really step into that confidentiality. It's a lot of things.
Not off the record. You can't just off the record for a friend up the street, or you just keep it perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you just call me hey Dominique, you were on the show. Listen, my uncle got this going on. What do you think my next step should be? I could be well, these are your options. But I wouldn't say do this, do that, do this. I wouldn't do that.
No, I'm saying you actually be there and you navigate the whole.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, you okay?
No, not unless it's my client.
Okay.
Nope, I don't do therapy work outside of.
Okay. And I did have another question too.
Work.
Do you do remote work or all in person? And if so, which is better if you do both?
I do both. And I don't know. A year ago, I would have said, I think in person, for certain things, in person is more effective. Yes. Right? If it's a client who struggles more, who has maybe been suicidal in the past, I like to be able to really read the body and see what's going on. And some people, because of their home environments, they like to come into the office so they can be fully transparent and honest.
Get away from that.
Yep. So I like in person, but I have some people who are busy, who are, I think, a bit more anxious, and they like to be in their own space and talk to me over telehealth.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, let's just say as a person that you never met before, but you come in contact with a person, can you automatically tell if that person needs therapy?
You asking the hard questions. I like it, though. I usually, if we can, have some questions with a little bit of depth, and you answer those, I can usually be well, why you do that? Well, that's always been like that. I'm well, you could probably use some assistance. But I'm not just walking around judging people like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. But, it's you can tell something ain't
the
right.
language.
Yeah.
Yes, the language, the body language. I think the thing that's easiest for me to pick up on is anxiety.
Anxiety?
Yep, the tapping, the fidgeting, sometimes the way they approach you and engage with you. That's probably the easiest to you because you notice it because it's outside. It's external stuff.
What's up things why are people I know we all have it to a degree, but what's up with anxiety? Why do you think that people are more anxious than others?
It's a lot happening. I think home environment played a role for some people, how they were raised. Like, did you grow up in a house with a yeller?
Have I? Me personally,
No.
I grew up with a person that has yelled, but not necessarily a yeller in particular. You know.
Like, when I talk to some people about their anxiety or just how they get easily kind of, triggered in that way of like just being like, oh my goodness, that's too much. A lot of them grew up in a house that was chaotic in some way, whether that was the yelling, whether that was arguing, right? And I think some of that we learn to adjust to, but the outcome is you're like that now, right? Like your tolerance is lower. So I think that's some of it, the upbringing, and I think some of it is in our mind too, right? How we just talked about overthinking, and it's about control. I want to be able to anticipate the things that are going on. You can't always do that.
Right.
And that usually started in some place though, right? Like a big thing happened and it told you that that doesn't work, or that's scary, or that's frustrating for me. I don't like it. So now you're trying your best to avoid whatever that outcome was.
Now, let me ask you, both of you guys a question. Now, since y'all tight like this, do you ever give therapy to your brother?
Therapy? No, I don't think.
I wouldn't say therapy, but she'd give me like some advice.
Okay, yeah,
Put
that's
it like that.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Because I always wonder, like, when brothers and sisters, you got a sibling that's a therapist, a licensed therapist. How does that work? Like, what's the relationship like?
I mean, we tight.
Yeah, we talk a lot. Every time I'm feeling something, I call it like, hey, now look what happened. Or somebody did this or did that. So it's more like that type of vibe.
Okay.
And I would say the place where it might get what people might say therapeutic is, I'm like, you can't let people do you like that, right? You gotta set some boundaries, right? Like, is that what you wanted to happen? Like, no. I'm like, all right, fix it.
So mainly be that part, like, you think he's about to really take it there with somebody. Like, hey, hold on, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Slow it down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I got to touch on a very heavy topic here.
Okay.
Mental health. Is there a mental health crisis in America? And if it is, what caused that, and what can people do to tackle it?
I think it's a few things happening in America. From my perspective right now, the biggest thing is the access to mental health resources, right? That from where I'm sitting and standing as a millennial, right, who have a lot of people around me who want to do it, but insurance says my deductible is $5,000 and I can't really afford to do it right now, right? So that's one of the things. Prior to the pandemic, we didn't see as many suicidal situations with our young people, and the taking and missing of women and things like that. So I do think that's affecting us in a way of how do we move about as Black bodies in the community. Right now, since January 20th, I think we also have this other thing that's happening where people are just paranoid about what is next. Right, we got these hirings and firings and all of this stuff going on. That has been a thing. And I mean, we cannot ignore that systematically in this country, racism exists and Black people have not always been treated in the best way. And so even if you wanted to go to therapy, generationally, we've been told that is not safe, right? So I think we have a lot of things happening around us.
Do you think social media play a big part in that too?
Absolutely. I think people, I can't remember what they call it, but this idea of like glamorizing the things you see on social media and you think that's what life is supposed to be. And what we also see across adolescent girls is a lot of them, they only use filters because this is the way that they feel beautiful and pretty, right?
That's true.
Yeah, right. And so I've even caught myself like, it's time to take like a real picture, like you keep adding filters. But yeah, social media impacts it. We have access to too much with social media.
Now, when you say young girls, what do you think the effects for young boys as well, or men in general, when it comes to social media?
I think it's a little bit different, but I think some of it overlaps, yes, and like how you're supposed to be a man, what kind of father you're supposed to be, those kind of things. But I think for our young Black men, especially in Detroit in our community, it's I need to be able to cash out, right? I need to be, it needs to look a certain kind of way if I ain't got the flyest. And, I think it's still that kind of comparison it creates on social media.
Brother, you mind if I go there real quick?
Go ahead, go for it.
Now I got to go a little left field with it. Do you think we're programmed, like with the TV, the social media, the music, all the pixels we see every single day, and we don't know what effects it's taking on the other side of our brain, our subconscious? Do you think it's an attack on us, on our mental?
That's a good question. Attack would mean it's intentional.
That's a question for both of y'all.
Okay. Right. Attack means it's intentional.
I think so.
Yeah.
I threw a curveball, didn't I?
You did. Because I'm trying to think about it. I'm always a person that tries to think about it from both ways, right? Is there enjoyment in it and, liveliness and fun in it? Absolutely.
Because you got a lot of dopamine hits.
Exactly, right? But there's also this part where it's like, does it absolutely distract us? For sure. Does it set some standards and expectations that are, I'm not even going to say, not to create success for us, but they keep us at a low vibrational place.
All the time, though.
Yeah.
All the time. Especially in our black young men,
Yeah.
for sure.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Give me. Come on, speak on it.
And I just feel like with my generation and the generation of funders, I feel like social media plays a big fact on our men. I feel like they got us doing crazy things and they glamorize it so much, especially in the black community, as far as gun violence and selling drugs. And they make us young men feel like we have to be more than we have to be for our age. They make you feel like when you're 18, you got to have a Benz and live in West Bloomfield and, do all these things to
Have the
impress
buffs.
girls. Yeah.
So what kind of artists do you listen to? I'm just curious.
I listen to pretty much everybody. I like ESTG, 42 Doug, but I also like Kanye West, and I like Lil Baby, Jay-Z. But for most people around my age group, I say we listen to more of like, the inner city people, the people that,
Okay.
make violent music.
And do you feel for yourself that music alters
Yes.
the mass? Okay.
Yes, definitely. I could be going to work calm as ever. I put on that 42 Doug. I wanna beat somebody up. You know what I'm saying? So
As long as you're aware of it, a lot of people don't know why they mad or upset. They don't know the source. So
Now, as a young man, how do you handle it? Like whenever you feel like, you're getting influenced.
I take a step back. I really try to just gather my thoughts and I try to self-analyze myself and ask myself, is this what I really want to do? Or if this is what the world playing a trick on me and it got me wanting to do? You know what I'm saying? Get me out of place. So I really just try to be real self-aware about myself.
Now, I got another. I kind of want to transition to what happened this weekend. Valentine's Day just recently went down. And I have to know, what are the effects of the mind and stress levels that people have during this time of year?
It's rough. Some people are very sad. And
single people or people in relationships?
I'm both.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I mean,
if you're in a relationship and sad, something is wrong.
Yeah, and that's something we were talking
It
about.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but being disappointed in the outcomes in your relationship, right? You think you're supposed to get. Some of that comes from not being on the same page too, right? About the relationship, what the expectations are. But some people go into it hoping for something and they don't get that, and then they're disappointed. And it's like, yeah, that creates sadness. It wasn't exactly how it looked.
Do you think social media breaks up a lot of relationships?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because baby girl got 4 roses. And, you know what I mean? Like
They compare, yeah.
Constant comparison. I mean, some of that stuff, it looks good. Don't get me wrong. I would love, send me a flight, get me out of here. But is that the reality all the time? No, it's not, And you have to do what works for your relationship. But outside of the relationship, I think there are people who are longing for companionship and they don't have it. And so I have, treated people who like Valentine's Day is triggering.
Do you let those conversations get to you when they say, oh, man should pay all the bills or the 50-50? Do you ignore those topics, or is that something couples really need to factor in?
I think you got to do what works for y'all.
I tell people that all the time. Everything customized, I tell people that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's your relationship. Those are y'all rules.
Yeah.
Y'all figure out what works.
Everybody got a different contract. It's not cookie cutter relationships.
Yeah.
And you actually asked a great question there, brother, because I just want to ask you this to piggyback off what he said. Do you think too many people, the reason why relationships don't work is too many people in everybody's business?
Yes. I just made a video about this last week. The third thing, we had 3 things we need to do in this first quarter. Mind your business. Take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. We're constantly, and when people come to me and they're like, oh, such and such did this. I was like, you don't have nothing else that you need to be worried about. Like, it's nothing else that you should be focused on other than what she's doing. Is what she's doing bothering you? No, I just don't like it. And has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with you. What are you doing and what do you need? You got homework you should be doing for college. You have things you need to be working on. You haven't been to the gym all year. Mm-hmm. Like, you got a lot of things that you could be working on. We got to start focusing on ourselves a little bit more.
I do want to know, do you think it's a root cause for insecurity in relationships?
Yeah, a lot of times it's based on that person's experiences in their relationships. And sometimes that's not just romantic. Sometimes it's other relationships where they've been disappointed. They don't feel like enough. That self-worth.
So are you saying if a child sees his parents split up, they could grow up to be insecure because they know the dad was dipping out?
They could be.
Okay.
Yeah. Or are we talking about a kid who grew up in a household where somebody is constantly pointing out their flaws? Why you wear that hat today? That's ugly.
Yep.
Those shoes beat up. Like, it just depends on how people have interacted with you and what narrative they've helped you create about yourself.
Okay.
You know?
Now let me ask you this: when it comes to delusion, because we already know it's a big delusional crisis going on, especially when it comes to relationships. Where does delusion come from, and how can a person get over their delusion? And how would you treat that?
I think it stems from what we were just talking. Like, kind of all of these things go together, right? The expectations, the wants, the desires, and most things are on a continuum. Most things are on a continuum. So if you go too far left, you're going to, be in this space of complete delusion. We got to talk about facts and expectations. It's the same thing, that fact checking. Why do you believe that this is your man if he told you 3 times he's not your man, right? You forcing him is not going to change his mind about anything. Mm-hmm. It's that like control, that want, that desire. If I work hard enough, I can change you. You can't. I am who I am. You can't change me.
And I have, as a man, I have been through that before.
Yeah.
They want to, like when you got with me, it was cool. Mm-hmm. But then later on, you feel the need to change me. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I want what I want. But sometimes people are putting so much emphasis on their desire, so much emphasis on their ability as a woman. And some of these women are good women. I'm not taking away from that by any means. But if someone is telling you that you can't love them into wanting you more, you can't buy them into wanting you more, if they're telling you no thank you, then that's when we have acceptance, really is what I'm getting at. Acceptance that this is not what I want it to be. You either stay there or you move on.
Right. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. I already know.
Well, he's just swiveling in his chair. That's all I can tell.
Yeah. I already know.
I just want to know. I'm gonna list 5 people, and I pretty much want to know, what do you think of them, or do you feel you can help them?
Okay.
First, I'm gonna start off with Kevin Samuels.
I don't know a lot about him and his upbringing. I know he has some very strong opinions about women and relationships. Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Do you think if he came to you, do you know how you would guide him or assist him? Or I know you don't know much about him, but to give you let you know, he's pretty much men are the prize, women fall in line, that type of guy.
Okay.
So
I probably wouldn't be the therapist for him.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Y'all could just pass people off like that, like playing cards.
I mean, I can tell a client though I don't think I'm a good fit. If I know I'm not, like if someone comes to me with something that is not my expertise, I'm not taking them on. Okay. I would say, hey, I have some referrals for you. I know someone who is great in that area. Let me get you someone. But I was joking with him. I would love to talk with him about his upbringing, what's gotten him to this place of believing this, and if there are some, because he used to do the ones where he had the women come on and talk to him.
On the
he
show.
kind of berated them though, like sometimes, right?
He talked down on them, especially once they had a kid and were single. It's immediate. No, you don't qualify for this type of.
I would say he would do that more so to the women that were more disrespectful, who wanted to come on there and finger wag.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he would give you a chance to be respectful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would just like to talk about how he got to this place of his belief system, like why he feels that men are the prize. Because I think both are the prize.
Well, he alluded to it. If for those who really paid attention, he said he was in a fraternity, and the fraternity kept calling him weak, and you need to do better and be better. And I guess that they brought the beast out of him, the dog or the alpha male out of him, and now he just exists only in that mode. But I'm like, you got to be able to go in between all modes.
Absolutely.
Every mode don't recall for alpha male.
Exactly.
Like I always use Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan. I don't always got to be a Super Saiyan to win a fight.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
But
all right, who next?
Kevin Gates, if you're aware of him.
Yes, I know who Kevin Gates is.
You put your head down, I see.
These are some people with some very strong opinions. And I think how you get there is the most important part. Mm-hmm. Because I come from a place of no judgment, right? So what is good for him is not necessarily good for me. But if he find women who align where he is, then that's their business. I just don't involve myself in that. So I have people who come to me who believe in like poly relationships. I'm married. I don't put my judgments on them. I listen. If they want some different kind of understanding or, guidance in that space, then cool. Can I understand why lady number 1 is upset about what you did with lady number 2? I can understand that. But you guys make up your rules. I don't insert myself into their lives in that way. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah. So I think for Kevin Gates, it's like if he finds somebody who down, to roll with him with his thoughts and his things.
You're always going to find somebody. Somebody's always willing.
Yeah.
So. Michael Jackson.
Ooh, Michael. I think Michael. So would you agree Michael had trauma?
I would say so.
Yeah, let's just say yes.
Okay.
I don't know what type of trauma, but I would say he had trauma.
He didn't have trauma to me. He just had missing moments that a lot of people experience.
You don't think his daddy was abusive?
I would say
I got whooped, so I don't know how. Hollywood overdoes it.
Yeah.
So maybe what we saw in the
because we don't know the whole story. That's what we're saying.
That's fair.
and he was trying to discipline him in the dance. I mean, maybe again Hollywood just overdoes it.
Yeah.
So I never heard him directly say.
I would say for him, he missed a lot of his childhood.
Yeah.
I would definitely say
For
that
sure.
for him. But as far as his parents, it might be more to the story than what they say it is. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And we don't have to call it trauma, but I guess I was just saying, because I know you said he had the pressures of being a childhood star. He had a father who was, I won't call him abusive because we don't know that, but who was very strict and disciplined him in a way that probably wasn't always the best for him, right? Especially when you're talking about multi-sibling households. Everybody needs something a little bit different. My mom parents us kind of the same because we're more alike, but we have another brother that she just very differently, So the parents.
That sounds like good parenting, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I don't think it's bad. I'm just saying, like, everybody needs something.
No, yeah, everybody.
Facts.
Some mothers know this one needs more love. That one need more.
For sure. Yeah. So I think, the parenting that was happening within the household and everything you guys said, him missing out on some major moments of just being a kid. And I think that's why he struggled into adulthood. He kept trying to recreate that with the parks and the animals and all of that stuff. He never had that.
And I don't think he really had a childhood friend outside of his family. All kids need a friend, even if y'all don't, other than that rat, I think he had a Ben or some type of rat. But that don't count.
Because how else do you learn to socialize truly with people, on
outside of business and
Exactly.
The next person, R. Kelly.
Again, somebody who, from his report, had trauma, right? He was sexually abused young.
Yes.
And I think...
Is that common for a lot of people? Never mind. Let's go.
But what? Being sexually abused and then going...
Yeah, and I guess, and then seeking out somebody to speak with,
Yeah. You should. Okay. A lot of... not all people do it in those moments or when they're young, right? Some people do hold on to that stuff until they get older. And they usually come in when they get older because something is going on internally. I can't seem to keep a relationship. I feel terrible about myself. Different patterns that you might hear of someone who's been sexually abused. Or they might become promiscuous too. Right now they're trying to have sex often. They're trying to meet that desire that they once got from somebody else. So you will see it play out in some way, usually. But I think that's what R. Kelly did. I think he was sexually abused and he continued to try and do it. I mean, it turned into a very kind of perverted thing later on, but I think that's where it started. It all starts somewhere. That's the point I was trying to make earlier.
And my last individual, Kanye West.
They were all men too. Okay. I think.
I'll throw a woman in there.
No. Okay. It's okay. I was just kidding. I do think that he has some mental health issues. I think he came out as being diagnosed maybe bipolar or something.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe he said it, or you don't believe
I don't believe he was
period?
diagnosed. I think that's people trying to assume and stop him from being great. Oh, let's get him on some pills.
But I think he can be great either way. I personally think he can be great either way. I don't know. So I don't know if he already had some mood stuff going on, and then his mother died, right? And that was that was a big thing that changed his life. And so if you already are working through on your own, you're trying to maintain some things that might be a little off, right, as far as your mood, up and down often, because bipolar is usually cyclic, right? And then your mom dies, you're probably going to go down here before you get back up, right? And I think those things we see online often are the more what we would call kind of manic stuff, right, where he's elevated. Doesn't mean he's not a genius. I think he's amazing. But the way he interact with people sometimes, some of the things he's saying and doing, they're a little off.
I think I'm going to take the Dave Chappelle approach on him a little bit more because I don't know if you ever saw the interview with Dave Chappelle. He said the worst thing to call somebody is crazy is dismissive. I just think their environment is a little sick. Then he lit up a cigarette. I think
That was on Oprah, wasn't it?
no, that was the Actors Guild with James Lipton.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And that interview, you know, it went over a lot of people's heads because he said their environment. You don't know what they're exposed to,
Exactly.
who's what they've seen. Money can also drive a person crazy as well if you're not careful. And, you know, it's just, you know, with him, I don't think he was able to handle it.
Yeah.
That's why when I watched his documentary, Genius, I think people like Dame Dash, when he tried to go to Dame Dash with his demos and they weren't listening, I think they was trying to save him. Like, look, you ain't ready for this.
That's a great perspective.
That's why I looked at him kind of sound like, bro, you no, stick to making beats.
Yeah.
When you go to the top, you're gonna see some things that you can't come back from. That's just me. I could be wrong, but
No, that's fair. That's fair. But I also think I also think his mom was a person that kept him
Yes.
grounded. Like even when you
Yes.
see the way they interacted, the way she kind of loved on him, all that she put into him to make sure that he was smart and wise.
yes.
She grounded him and he lost that anchor.
And I want to add another person to that, Mike Tyson. I noticed when his mentor died, Custom Motto, he started wilding out. You know what I mean? He started doing this, started doing that, getting involved with the wrong people, you know, and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah. It can feel like you don't have anything left.
Yes.
Right? In a lot of ways. You know, the things that matter to you are now gone.
Now, can we transition on to celebrities real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, with celebrities, I know it's like to the world, they seem like they have everything. They seem like they have the money, the cars, the status. They can do whatever they want to do and do whatever they want to go, but they feel lonely. Like I seen Jim Carrey say one time, I hope one day everybody get rich and famous to realize that's not the answer. What is your perspective on that?
My perspective on that would be, I mean, I agree. I don't think it's the answer. I come from this place of intentional living and self-care, right? And I'm not talking about getting your nails done or your hair cut. I'm talking about truly tending to your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual self, right? I think that is the way that you live your best life.
Right.
You know, and of course, no one wants to be constantly in need. So yeah, not poor, but I don't know that you need all the money in the world to be happy either.
Facts.
So I'm coming from this place of intentionally living, and we were talking about it on the way over here. Like, there's so many ways that you can be intentional and have the things that you want. I call it the life you desire, right? But yeah, I think it's more about intentional living and self-care.
And before you answer your question, you mind fixing your mic so you can speak into it? Cause
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of low. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I did want to know. Do y'all have like a Yelp people who will leave reviews for y'all, and what's the best review you got if you?
You can leave reviews on Psychology Today.
And that's something for not just your practice, but
Everybody, yep.
Okay.
If you were looking for a therapist, you could go on, put in city, zip code, and they would give you a list of people.
Okay.
And you can leave a little bio on there. They have other things like, God, it's not called Glassdoor. What's it called? Different internet sites where you can leave, you know, if you've ever worked with a provider. The best review. Well, actually, I met with a young lady 2 weeks ago. We've been working together for a year and a half, and just hearing somebody say that they feel so much better, you know, than when I first got here. I've learned how to set boundaries with my family. That has then allowed me to feel like I know where I want to go next. That's enough for me. You know, I don't need much more than that. As long as this is helping, because it's not, you know, I'm not a self-serving person, so it's not about me. It's really about you having what you need.
How would you deal with a person that's dealing with low confidence and low self-esteem?
It depends on can you give me a little bit more?
Like somebody's not confident. Let's say from a guy's point of view.
Okay.
He don't feel confident enough to put himself out there to, I don't know, start that business
or pursue women.
or pursue women. Yes.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about, you know what I'm gonna say, where it started, right? Or how I like to dive into that is, tell me the first time you actually felt confident to approach somebody. Like, when is one time that you actually, you know, got the balls to like go up and say, hey, I think you look beautiful. I've been da-da-da-da. He's going to tell me what that experience was like and why we've changed from there. So did she reject you? Is rejection a part of your history? That's how people have called me weird before. Like, you know, you like really getting what is his own narrative about himself. And then we can start correcting that. We can start doing affirmations. We can start doing exercises around you practicing. Because I believe that progress comes from practice. So I need you to go out and when you with your boys, if you see a lady that you like, I need you to go talk
Keep
to
trying.
her. Yeah.
Keep trying.
Yeah, I need you to go talk to her. That's the only way you're going to start building your confidence.
Jacoby, you ever deal with that?
No.
So you just straight, don't think about it, just
Say,
go
get
for the
off
kill.
me, get off me.
Yeah, I mean, we all deal with rejection, but at the end of the day, you just got to know you're one-on-one. You're unique. As a man, you have to always be confident at all times. Keep your faith in God.
I like that.
I did have another question. Is your field predominantly gender-wise? What is it predominantly? And race-wise?
Women, white.
Well, okay, so how...
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very few people of color, therapists of color. Like, that's a real thing. We're underrepresented.
So do you feel like more black males should enter the field?
I feel like black man, woman, doesn't matter.
Just-
Both.
yeah,
Yeah, we need
good.
it. Like, my phone, and I'm not bragging, I'm grateful. My phone is off the hook.
Okay.
Because people are saying, I want a black therapist. I want to go in there and not have to explain why, or what I'm talking about when I take my wig off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, different things like that. Or I want to be able to have a conversation about co-parenting and how I got to the choice of going for child support. Not because I'm bitter. And the white lady is saying, girl, that's what you're supposed to do. And the black lady like, oh, I know how that's going to feel to be looked at like a bitter baby mama. Right? Like, people want some place where they feel understood. And it's not a lot of us.
Like I do know a few men who do have therapists, and most of the brothers I know, they want a black male to be their therapist. They don't want...
And that's even harder.
So, and my one friend who is a therapist, that's what he is, but he way out in Oregon. You ain't nowhere near here where we need you over here
Exactly.
also. So
Exactly. But you know, a thing for him too, he could get licensed in Michigan. He could only do virtual, but he could.
he could.
Yeah.
He good where he at though.
Yeah.
I think his workload is
Yeah.
decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that's how that works. You can't just go state to state with just one license. You got to have a license.
Every state. Yeah, he just moved from Arizona to now Oregon.
Okay.
And that's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you tell us how would you go about getting licensed if you're a therapist? What do you have to do?
So you complete your undergrad work, get your BA or whatever your bachelor is in, and then you go on and get your master's degree. In both master's and bachelor's, you'll have to do some kind of internship to practice your skill set, practicum. And then after that, we have to do 3,000 work hours. And then I think 200 hours of supervision with another licensed professional.
And that's how you get your practice up doing
Yeah,
that.
before you do, before you can become fully licensed, and we take an exam as well.
Okay. You know, it just hit me. I got one more person to add to your list.
Oh,
goodness.
the list, go ahead.
It's the smile.
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Oh,
Yeah, doctor. What do you think? I'm not saying anything wrong with him, but I noticed he said he's a therapist as well.
he has some strong.
I'm trying to.
Go ahead,
I'm
go
trying
ahead.
to. I'm trying to. Yeah.
He has some strong opinions. I would first like to say, and there's nothing against him. I think people in general, you know, I worked really hard to get my license.
Right.
You know, and it's a lot of people out here just kind of taking on this title of like therapist.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not that. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's really clear to be, it's really important to be clear about what you're talking about when you're saying, like, I'm a mental health advocate, or, you know, I hold space for people to, you know, discuss things, and not being like, I'm a licensed professional. Because, you know, that's a dangerous territory, right? We want to make sure that people have, you know, the competence that they need to do that. But to your question, I also think he's for the culture. Like, I really do. I think that he can provide some space. But I think he has some strong opinions that I don't necessarily agree with all the time. Sometimes it feels like he's just talking, you know? So
But I will say for his side, he I want to say was a professor somewhere, and he had a tenure somewhere. I just don't know what his majors was in.
Exactly.
So he probably is a licensed therapist. I don't know that. I just know he definitely had tenure
okay,
at
and
some university.
not just him. I'm just saying it's a lot of people out here calling themselves like healing grief counselors,
Yeah.
and they've never taken a class before. Your experience matters, right? Because I think that's what makes me a great therapist. I have both. I have expertise and education, you know, so that's cool.
You mentioned earlier you made a video for, I guess, social media or something. Do you have social media where you also do it online, or was it a video for?
It was just a like an Instagram story video. Yeah.
I didn't know if it was online, trying to get an online presence going or something.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on Instagram.
You know, I want to get down, you know, back into the thicker part of things. Childhood trauma. Childhood trauma. This is what I noticed what a lot of people result back to when it comes to childhood trauma. Even in my case, in some cases, I do have some childhood trauma. How do you treat that?
Keep whooping them? No.
it's layers too, because some of these questions are they broad, so but it's layers to this, right?
Right.
So I think first getting to a place of I gotta make sure you identify it as childhood trauma. I can't come into your life saying you had childhood trauma.
Right.
You're not gonna feel good about that,
Right.
right? So we start processing what were the important morals, values in your household? How were you disciplined? How did people engage with you, right? And we'll start talking about that, and you then decide if that was okay or not, right? And I can pose some questions in the mirror, like, you know, it sounded like every day when you got home, if you didn't put your coat in the right place, your mom smacked you. Like, did you think your friends, that happened to your friends too? Like, no, none of them ever said that, right? So some people, you're truly helping them come to the realization of some of that stuff was not okay.
But what if it was more so happening like in the school? Like, you know, being bullied, being talked about, stuff like that.
I think that's a trauma too.
Yeah.
I think that's a trauma too. Because what I end up seeing later in life is it impacts people's narrative about their self-worth.
Yeah.
So something that changes your life to me is a trauma. Right? Like if you experience bullying and now you're scared to make friends and you're crying in your room every day, it's changed your life. That is a trauma to me. You lose somebody, you don't understand death, and now you're scared to die. You know what I mean? Like all those things to me are traumatic. So I think the first thing is letting that person identify exactly what they think trauma is. Starting to work with them on undoing or learning what things were happening and how they maybe even wanted it to look. Accepting it didn't look that way, and then figuring out how we move through life now. It's happened, right? So how do we move forward with that?
Are you able, or are there any type of therapists able to recommend psychedelics?
Not therapists. We don't prescribe medication.
Okay, no, I know y'all don't, but
yeah.
just recommend it, like not prescribe it. Like,
Well,
no,
I mean,
okay.
some if that is what they do, I that's not my background
Okay.
or expertise. But
So what is your expertise? What exactly subjects do you tackle?
So I do anxiety, depression, ADHD is something else that I have been trained in.
Oh, my cousin needs you. My cousin got
DBT, the dialectical behavior therapy that I told you about. Something that would be called CBT. So that kind of logic we were talking about, how your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors are connected. So it would be things like that. But I don't dive into psychology.
Okay.
Can I go back to childhood trauma for a second?
Yeah.
Well, more so when it comes to the school. I notice high school for a lot of people could be a very traumatizing time, especially if you're trying to fit in. If you don't have the latest phone, you don't have the latest shoes, you don't have the latest drip, you're going to be talked about. One good example, I want to revert back to anybody. I know you watched it, but that show Atlanta.
I love that show.
You remember in the final season, the FUBU episode?
Yeah,
I didn't watch the final season.
Well, it was the FUBU episode for those of you
with
out
Kevin
there.
Samuels, right?
No. The FUBU episode where he was in high school.
Oh, and he had
So
the
which one-
blue food. Yeah, the blue and yellow food. Yeah.
They was trying to, and another person had another yellow FUBU, but it looked different. So they was trying to compare which one is real and which one is fake.
Oh, maybe I did see this. Okay.
And by the end of the episode, they found out that Donald
Mama
Glover.
went to the
Yeah, but Mama went. Yeah, that one. Yeah. But you see what happened at the end of the episode? The boy who they say FUBU was fake, he ended up committing suicide because he couldn't handle the humiliation. What is your opinion about that, and how can that be solved, or when it comes to high school?
It's hard because, as we said earlier, social media is a big part of that. We
Right.
deem what's cool and what's not, right? So a lot of that is on us. It's our responsibility to kind of take care of one another in that way. I don't know, as long as there is a popular crowd and the need to be on top, I don't know that it goes away, right? Because somebody always needs to be better. Like, this is what we've created, right, as a culture and as a society. So I don't know, other than be kind. You know what I mean? Like, be kind to each other. Outside of that, there's always that comparison factor. There's always that person that is the it girl or the it guy or he's the basketball player.
Big man on campus.
The big man on campus. Like, that's a real thing.
I feel like it builds character though, to be able to get teased and probably tease them back. So to me, it builds character.
If you can tease
Or
them
just,
back,
well,
right?
yeah. If you can tease
some
them
people
back.
just not good at
Some
that.
people don't got.
Yeah.
Try though, at least attempt or threaten them if you got to threaten them.
So it's like survival of the fittest.
It is.
Survival of the fittest.
It is.
I did have another question too about children though. For a child's optimum development, what type of household should they be brought up in?
Say it one more time.
For a child's optimum development, what type of household should they be brought up in?
Let me tell you why that's it's just a little challenging, right?
Okay.
Okay,
Kids are
let's
different.
let's just go with it. Kids are different, and what we know is I think what we used to say 10, 15 years ago is a two-parent household. But we know that a two-parent household isn't always the best household if we're talking about there are other things going in the household that are not conducive to that child, alcoholism, abuse, whatever it is. So I think it's more about having people who are intentional and have good parenting practices, whether that's a single parent or a two-parent household, or if it's a mama and a grandmama. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's more about how they're treating you, how they're raising you, and the things they're instilling in you versus the people that make up the household.
Okay, and I do got another question about that with the two-parent household. There have been studies that say children can develop better if they're brought up in a single, what am I trying to say? Households ran by men, a single-parent household where a man is raising the children grow up better versus being a single-parent household by a woman. How do you feel about that? I'm trying to word it the best I can.
No, that's fine. I could see the truth in it. I mean, I don't know the statistics around it, but I could see the truth in that.
I think they say they're more disciplined or something like that when they're raised by a man.
I have heard that before
Absolutely.
too.
And women, they're more loose and they don't mind talking back. And even some of the boys grow up to be sassy.
Yeah.
So I just want to know from your professional perspective.
No, I could see that, and I think more than professional is I'm a mama, and I'm a husband, right? And my son responds to my husband differently than he does to me. Does he listen? Yeah, but sometimes it takes like, hey, listen. My husband says it one time, bro, go get your bag.
You need the voice of doom to come in.
Yeah, he does it. So I could definitely see that there would be some benefits to a man-led household as far as discipline and things like that. And I also think that women, when they're in a single household, there are a lot of emotions that go along with that. Feeling a lot of times bad about why they're a single parent, the difficulties of it, the stress, especially if it's more than one kid. And I think men just have this different kind of like get it done kind of mentality. Mm-hmm. And so I think that could benefit, running a household.
Yeah, we had another guest on here. Her theory was something about, say if it's a single man raising a daughter, when a daughter comes of age around 11 to 13, go live with your mom now. Because only the mom can relate to him. Same if you're raising your son, now that you're about 11, 13, about to go through puberty, go live with your father. How do you feel about
boys in the hood?
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I think it's beneficial in some cases. I think it's true in some cases.
Okay.
You depending on where they're being raised and how, what the other stressors around the household are. But I've seen some kids that happened to some people close to me, and they were successful by going to live with their father.
Because I just know certain
but
people.
But the mom stayed connected. I should say that too.
Right?
Yeah. She
you
stayed
can't
connected.
just go ghost.
Right.
Because I just know certain people, just because of bitterness and for child support, no, you can't go live with the other parent. But it's not about that.
Correct.
If you care about this child in his future, do the right thing.
Correct.
So, and sometimes, if I send you to live with your dad, and I know he's drinking, smoking, you stay with me.
Right.
But other times, send them off if you know this could lead to something great for their development.
Yeah, kind of case by case, like you said. Each kid needs something different. And I think a part of that is the maturity, too, to say, you know what, I cannot benefit you right now. I should let you go live with the other parent so that you can have what you need. Right.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Now, can I also ask you this, just to change the topic a little bit? Food and trauma. Food, when it comes to trauma eating, because I know that's a real thing. Mm-hmm. When we look at people like, what recently happened with Dank DeMoss, the lift situation.
Oh, yeah.
And we got people like Dave Blunt's. Can't put down the cup, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not putting them on blast or anything like that, but I notice, especially when it comes to us, we do things like trauma eating. Whenever we feeling bad, whenever we feel a certain type of emotion, we got to have her eat a lot.
I think food is linked to depression. That's me, though.
I mean, it can, but at the same time, you got, I'm feeling this. Actually, exactly what you said.
Low vibration food.
Yeah, like we're right here eating junk food, snack food, sugar, salts, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm taking an eating disorder training right now, and we're talking about a lot of the different parts of why we eat the way we eat, and some of it being, food scarcity, like growing up in a neighborhood where, hey, the only thing you got is the McDonald's down the street, right? And how that can lead to overeating, purging, different things like that. But some of it is cultural. Some of it is every Sunday we eating pork chops and ribs
Greens.
and greens and every and that's what you kind of get linked to. Also, it's about what we're seeing growing up, right? When mom was upset, did she go work out or did she grab a bottle? Did she go work out or did she grab a burger? And us being of a culture where food is supposed to be love, right? So if I'm feeling empty, I'm going to do what is supposed to make me feel good, which sometimes is food, right? And I'm not saying our choices can't be different, but I think that is one of the things that we learn, like, oh, soul food is food with love. This is how we pour back into, right? And when we think about kids and all the additives and things like that, sometimes if it means as a mom or a single mom that to get you to be quiet and sit down, I got to grab you some Cheetos and sit you right here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do because we both got to make it tonight. So you go ahead while I go take care of this and we go. Sometimes it is of convenience.
Yes.
Right, and not intention. And I think as we're growing older, we got to be more intentional.
I just want to mention this real quick. I remember Dick Gregory, rest in peace. He said this a long time ago. He said, the menace to society is not the boys in the hood, but the foods in the hood. Mm-hmm. He said if you can find a weed man before you find good produce, it's a problem with that. So that's all.
Salute to Dick Gregory and rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Father. But what were you about to say?
How long did it take you to read body language? To learn to read body language?
I don't know. I think it's always something I've been pretty good at, right? And I also trust my gut, my sixth sense. Sometimes I pick up and I'm like, I don't know exactly what this is, but something not right about this.
So if somebody in your face lying in your face, how good are you at? Do you just sit there and listen to the lie, or just check them on they?
You talking about my client or my people?
Yo, people. Let's talk about your people. We not at work right now. We not at work right now. Like somebody in your lie, obviously lying because you can read body language.
Yeah.
Do you check them on it, or you just? What do you do?
I'm usually Wait, say that again. No, I'm saying that's how I am usually with them. Like, Lord, you say what?
Oh, I thought you were
like,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, like,
I was about to repeat it.
Say that again. Wait, I thought you said. So that didn't. I'm not just like you a liar, But so you said okay. That's not what I.
You want to make sure you want to confirm.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
confirm, and then I'm say, well, you know what you told me last time. So you got to figure out which is it, right? Because it doesn't sound like it's not adding up, right? I'm gonna call you on your stuff, but I think I'm pretty cool about it. I'm not a, name caller or nothing like that.
Now, my other question, it just came back to me.
Okay.
If an artist presents their art to you, whether it's a visual art or you just listen to the songs, are you better at analyzing them as a person? Like if you just walk up and see, I guess, a Basquiat, like, would you just say, oh, he a crazy motherfucker?
Now you talking about like they got them
No, I'm just saying.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm just saying any artist, like you can walk into a museum or gallery, see their painting, and then you can analyze them as a person, or even you could just listen to music. A bunch of King Von, be like, man, this dude is. I can analyze him better.
It definitely helps. It definitely helps.
Because they're putting themselves out.
Exactly, and authentically, right? A lot of times that has nothing to do with me. More than visual art, several of my clients write. And so they'll come into session and they'll share, like, hey, this is how I was feeling and this is what I came up with, and we'll move from there. Just kind of, what feelings they were feeling, what this is linked back to, if anything. But usually for them, it's written. It's written journaling or poems or things like that.
So speaking on celebrities, who do you think you are 100% right about, or who you could predict best based off what you know about them?
A celebrity?
Yeah, celebrity. Just somebody putting out their art out there, like, this guy's this type of person. He'll do this, do that. That wasn't a hard question, was it?
I wish I had a soundbite for this.
I didn't think it was a hard question.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I think about them in that way.
In that regard, okay.
Yeah, and I should be 100% honest too. I have kind of taken a step back. Like, I don't watch a lot of reality TVs and things like that.
Nobody does.
Yeah. So I've kind of been in my own kind of bubble, I guess, in a way of just being intentional.
That's how you protect yourself.
Yeah.
The world is, man. I watch too much news, and just recently I stopped.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
You're taking in so much.
Because I actually start following what's that thing in Detroit?
Metro Detroit News?
No, not Metro Detroit.
Crime in the D.
Crime in the D on Instagram. I was like, stuff happens
live
every day. I thought stuff happened because I used to only follow them on YouTube. They just don't update their YouTube. I'm like, on Instagram, it's daily.
It's
crazy.
It's too much.
And you know what? That creates a lot of fear when it comes to the average person. Some people are exposed to things they're not exposed to. Would you say that's so?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't need to know every single thing that's going on.
Right, yeah.
Especially when there's no resolve for me. You know, you see the things that's happening with kids and different things like that. That's causing true fear in people. You know, I
Yes.
just keep my baby closer. There's an aspect of it that's preventative.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you guys knew about it, but sometime like in the summer of last year, there was these incidents happening at the Walmart where they were following people around the stores and, you know, all of that. That was creating a lot of fear. So, yes, I should not be sending my teenage daughter into Walmart alone. But the fear
Wait, who was following people? I'm not understanding. Just
there were some
predators,
men.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had some people, I think.
Traffickers or something.
Yeah,
That's what they assumed.
That's what they assumed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it happened several times, and you just started to see all of these stories and reports about it. And so it was in the women with children, it was really causing a lot of fear. So, yes, be preventative, but this, like, we don't need the reports every single day. Every time you log on to Facebook and you scroll, you see it. You know, it's a lot.
I mean, you do want to know what's going on in your area.
Yeah,
Like,
for
I don't know if you've ever gone on the registry to see who's all in your
neighborhood.
Man,
Yeah.
it's people.
It's crazy.
You got all time, and some of these people, if you can get their name, you be like, damn, I see him all the time. He seems so normal. Behind closed doors, people switch up.
Exactly.
Now, from a licensed therapist as yourself, I got to ask you this question, your personal opinion. Do you think parents shelter their children too much?
I think that, can I speak for my own generation?
Sure, yeah.
I think that some of us millennials have created some brats because we thought we would give them the things we didn't have, and that our parents not necessarily did a bad job, but we were trying to be better parents. And as a result of that, we have created some very ungrateful children.
Yes, yes, I definitely agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
Right? So, like, I think that's a real thing, and we are coming to terms with it and what that means. And a lot of us have, you know, some older kids, and then we've had this second set, so we're trying to do better. But also, I reflect on that for myself. Like, why did I feel the need to do so much with this one? You know, I don't think my mom did a bad job. My mom was very intentional and very honest about where she made mistakes. So, you know, we were able to learn from that. But, yeah, we definitely have, I won't say ruined. Mm-hmm. We've definitely done a number on this first set of kids we had.
Because I got to say this. I was watching a video of an older lady talking about we shelter our kids too damn much. She said we should have let them go out there and get beat over the head a couple times.
And bullied.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Bullying kind of helps people.
I don't have a problem with bullying. Bullying actually, if it don't kill you, make you strong.
Yeah, don't
I'm
go
sorry.
too
That's
hard.
just how I am. I'm old school like that. Hey.
Yeah, bullies
Some
tone
of
it
these
back a
kids
little
take
bit.
it too far.
They do.
Like, in their,
now,
I guess I call it.
Now, if you want to bring in mamas and, family business, that's too far. I agree with that. But if it's just me and you, it's just me and you.
Yeah.
You know?
But a lot of times it doesn't go that way.
It don't.
It doesn't go that way. And then some of these children don't have the capacity to deal with that kind of stuff. You know, we got kids killing themselves and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And not that's the everyday thing, but I really think, again, some of these kids don't have the capacity.
And some kids think gunshots are normal.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's weird though? Because when I pretty much grew up in a city all my life. The few times I've ever been out the city and I hear crickets and stuff outside, I can't stand that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the gunshots in the traffic. I can't. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but
Let me press this
I'm
button.
trapped in that.
Just stop doing that.
Man, but
That means you institutionalized, brother.
so kind of the question he asks: how do kids who grow up to be coddled? What kind of adults do you think they grow up to become? And kids who grow up to be spoiled, kids who are spoiled, what kind of adults do you think they grow up to become? If you could generalize both.
Not accountable, right?
For both or just for the coddling?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Well, entitled, spoiled, entitled, right?
Arrogant.
Maybe arrogant.
Does that create delusion?
What, being
Being
entitled?
Yeah, being entitled. I mean, even coming from a sheltered childhood.
I mean, I think it could. Not necessarily. I don't think they're automatically, one leads
Right.
to the other. But that idea of like, I want what I want and I'm gonna have it. Yes, that can absolutely lead to, I don't care what's going on around me, I'm gonna go get it. But definitely entitled. I think the thing that stands out to me the most is not being accountable, because you feel like at this point you can't be touched. Somebody else has always handled it, right?
Okay.
So it's no need for me to say like, I'm sorry, I apologize, I did that, I did it, so what, right? Somebody else will fix it. Go cry to somebody else, right? So I think, you can call that inconsiderate. You could call it a lot of things, but not accountable is one of them for sure.
And these are the things that we never really thought about before? Because I think we get wrapped up in our own life and our own preservation, and we don't think about it like that.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that? As far as all of us being keeping to ourselves too much and not really looking at it from another point of view. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that this moment is a time for us to continue to be reflective. I think you get to that place because you're reflective on how am I doing, and if adding to community is important to you, that's another part of it, right? How other people are managing around you and how you're impacting that. Because if you're doing something in your community that is harming somebody else, that should make you feel some kind of way, So I know we got to open our eyes, a little bit more. Yeah. No, I think this is just a point of self-reflection for all of us to figure out what it is. And when is the last time you checked in with your goals? It's something I encourage every client to do. For some people, that looks like a vision board, but for some people, that looks like, again, those areas I named, financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. What are you doing to be better? Right?
Do you think adults with no friends from childhood, do you think they have... That's a red flag? Do you think that's a red flag?
I think it definitely signals something about you. I think it's a red flag for people who don't have any friends, like can't keep a friend. Like last week you were with Sheila and then you're like, oh yeah, we fell out.
Now they should be best friends.
Yeah, like what's happening here? But it does say something about a person who cannot maintain relationships. And for me, that would be one of those patterns where I'd be like, maybe have you ever thought about talking to somebody about why you can't keep a relationship? Like that would be an area.
What are other red flags that you think people overlook in people?
People who are not, and I want to be careful about saying the word vulnerable because I was listening to the Breakfast Club last week. I cannot remember the guy's name, but he was basically saying we're constantly asking men to be vulnerable. And when you look up the definition of vulnerability, it means to kind of be at the bottom of the totem pole, right? To be in this space, right?
So it's like a trigger word.
Right, exactly. So he's like, let's use another word, right? So not vulnerable, but a person who's completely guarded, right? A person who can't communicate. A person who...
there have been studies, a lot of men who open up to their spouses in moments of arguments, they use it on them. And then on top of that, a lot of women, once you open up to them, they be like, oh, he's weak now. And now you start to despise him. You never despised him before, but now that he kind of cracked the door open, now it's, oh, your uncle, you this.
Yeah.
So
I think every man been through that at least one time.
So that's...
But I would also argue the women that are doing that too. Right, because it doesn't mean just because we're saying he needs work, she doesn't.
Right.
So I will also when you think about the women who've done that to you, could they use some support? Did they have some stuff going on too?
Can I ask you one? Yeah. It's a terrible question. It's a terrible question.
I can see it on you. What is it?
Because you've pretty much, I'm sure you've talked to women, just how spiteful and bitter and kind of evil they can be. Is there ever a justified reason for a man to put his hands on a woman?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think you should keep it moving. Like if she got you that pissed off, I think you should just keep it moving. And most of the time, by the time you get to a place where you're putting your hands on her, it wasn't the first time she done really, really, really pissed you off, or you wanted to. The other times maybe you've restrained, but it ain't the first time that you really wanted to. You need to get on. It's not the person for you. Because why do we keep staying in these relationships that don't work?
Some people don't want to be alone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the main.
But that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem though. What you gotta say?
I got one. The only way I can see it, if you're trying to kill me.
Okay.
A justified reason?
Yeah.
If it's a lot of evil stepmoms. If you walk in and the evil stepmom and you can prove they did something to your kids, depending on what they did, then I ain't gonna say go for it, but I understand. If that makes sense, I understand. But yeah, keep your hands off women.
Yeah, please.
And keep your hands off men too. Unless y'all try.
That part, yeah.
Unless y'all try.
I hate when mothers say that to their daughters. Like, what do they say? Don't hit a man unless you expecting to get hit back, or they say something like that. Mothers say something.
Everybody should keep their hands to themselves.
Everybody should keep their hands to themselves, but they say something I can't.
Unless y'all trying to be loving to one another.
But y'all hit on the big part though. The source of that problem is people don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
They stay around too long. Because I'm serious. By the time you get to a place where you want to put your hands on somebody, it's been plenty of things before that told you to get up out of there. Right, like unless it's some extreme example, right?
Or a pure reaction.
Right.
I gotta add to that because I have seen situations, never happened to me, but you might find a woman say, "What you gonna do? You gonna hit me? Hit me?
They be asking for it, yeah.
Yeah, get away. Get away from that. That's not the kind of person you.
Now, can I bring up the baby boy situation where he was trying to leave and she was blocking the door? Now, I know it was wrong. He's not hitting. I was wrong hitting her. I'm not saying that.
Didn't he
But
mush her? What'd he do?
he slapped her.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, he
wrong.
slapped her, but he was trying to leave though.
All you got to do is pick her up, move her over, and leave out.
Let's keep it honest, bro. She threw a punch at him. Now, he was to touch her.
If you're a man, let's just say this: men are stronger than women. You can't take one punch from a woman.
I'm not saying what he did was wrong, but what I'm saying is he was trying to leave too.
Okay, just let her
But she was blocking the door.
pick her up, move her out and don't get in my way, and
You
walk
think it's gonna
out.
be that easy in that situation?
I'm not saying you have control over your spouse.
That's what I'm saying.
But let her. Most women know what their man is capable of, and just let them know in a stern voice, "I'm not playing right now," and they'll.
Have you ever had a woman punch you before?
No.
How would you?
I select good women. I've never had a bad ex. Everybody, I'm good.
Now, I
Never had a
assume
bad-
nobody ever put their hands on another.
I can't relate to a lot of
I
people.
assume that never happened, right?
No, I don't fight.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad. Let's keep it that way. Don't don't fight nobody.
Yes, no fighting. Keep your hands to yourself.
Now, can I go back to trigger words for a minute? Because I got one that a lot of women get triggered over. Submissive. Whenever a woman says submissive, oh, you want me to be your slave?
See, it depends on who you're talking to, because I don't feel that way.
You don't feel that way?
No,
Okay,
I don't feel
okay.
that way. I think that there is a place, especially when we're talking about expectations, the foundation of the relationship. If my husband is in a place where he can lead me, I'm going to do what he asked me to do. But I do think it's my place. You know, my aunt has always told me, the man is the head, the woman is the neck. So I'm telling him, if it's something I see that he's doing that's not going to be conducive to him, all right, now listen, I don't think that's the best idea, but we've built that relationship where he's okay with my correction, right? So as much as I listen to him, he also listens to me. So I think it's about learning how to, finding somebody who can do that with you. But I don't think submissive is a bad word, but you got to be able to lead me. Some people want you to be submissive and they not leading.
Right.
And it's like, where you leading me to,
Now, I do agree with you said. What you said. Look, if you're going to be submissive, you gotta learn how to lead as well.
Yeah.
You can't just be submissive for no damn reason. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, that's another part of the conversation most people don't hit on either.
Yep, they stop right at submissive. I heard submissive. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
Well, why? And sometimes we'll talk about this as well as a part of that conversation. Do you trust your partner? Right. So you want him to lead. You want her to be submissive. Do you trust your person? Well, no, I don't. That's a part of that process too. Trust. Right. So both ways.
Now, I got another question too. Do you think spirituality and therapy go hand in hand?
I do.
In what ways do you think?
So I think that we're receiving a lot of information, and depending on where you've grounded or oriented yourself as far as your spirituality, whether that be, Christian or, some other form of spirituality, it tells me how you're moving through life, right? It tells me a lot about that. So it helps me then give you guidance, or in our session. So I have people who say, I don't quite believe in God. I'm not like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm very intentional about how I move with you in that session, because I still think you deserve help and can get help, even if our, spiritual ideas don't align. But I do think that it should be kind of motivating you and leading you toward wherever it is you think is your purpose.
Right.
So yeah, I do. I think they go hand in hand. But again, I have some people who say, yeah, I'm not really into all of that. And so we leave it out. We
Right.
just do the work. So.
Right.
So what's the minimum time for sessions? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So I like 45 to 55 minutes. That's a good, nice chunk of time where we can talk about things that's been going on, teach any skills needed, address any concerns. But the minimum would be really, I guess you could have a 15-minute session. You're not going to get a lot done. But like a 30, 35 minute. But I try to keep it around 45.
And I'm assuming y'all do give out homework, like stuff to
I
do
do.
and work on? Okay.
I do, because that's how I know if you're practicing or not.
Okay.
And it also tells me a lot when you come back to a session and you haven't done anything.
Hey, if they want to blow bread.
You come back and I'm like, hey, did you do? But it's a lot of times it's avoidance. Because I gave you some homework to journal about that one thing that came up last time that was causing you. Because I saw the emotion on you, and I could see that it was making you kind of worked up. Can you go home and can you journal about that? And you come back like, yeah, I didn't do it. Why not? Well, I just couldn't sit down and do it. Let's talk about it then, right? Like we need to talk about it because something is happening that you don't want to talk about.
How long would you talk about it before you just send them off to another therapist? Like, do you only really want to work with people who truly want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because otherwise, My biggest fear about working with people who don't want to do the work is what you're going to do is you're going to walk away and say you did therapy and it didn't work. You didn't do therapy because you didn't show up and do the work. You came in here on every Friday, but the work you didn't do. You didn't practice the skills. You didn't do anything, and your narrative to other people is that therapy doesn't work. That's not fair.
And what's the maximum number of people you allow into your sessions?
My individual, like if we did a family session.
I guess, yeah. If I didn't know if like, oh, you don't do more than 3 people. I didn't know if it was a rule.
Well, if you assign it a group, you can do up to 8. That would be my max number anyway. You could do up to 8 if it was just like a group around depression or anxiety.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Like
yeah, like
I thought it was a group
session.
of people who all knew each other.
Or if we did a family, I probably wouldn't do anything more than 5. That's a lot of people.
Because you want everybody to talk.
Yeah, okay. For sure. Of going, back and forth.
Okay.
But yeah.
So in your environment, I'm assuming you have a designated area you do therapy, or do you show it to people's houses?
I have an office. It's in St. Clair Shores, right at 9 and Harper, right across from that Buffalo Wild Wings, right there. You familiar with the East Side?
I am, but I'm not an East Sider like that.
Okay. But yeah, I have a little.
I just want to know the atmosphere of it. Like, do you got plants in there? Do you got salt rocks? Or I just want to know the atmosphere of, and bright colors or darker shades. I didn't know.
Yep. It's a colorful office. Teal little couch and chair. Got a bookshelf with some different things on it. A nice little window with a plant in the window. Some art on the wall. So some mats. Yoga mats. So if ever need to stretch, do a mindfulness, whatever we need to do.
And I want to say there is a law that you're not allowed to talk about client privilege or something like that. You're not allowed to speak on. But are you able to speak on like one of the wildest therapy sessions you ever had, or you're not allowed?
Wildest.
Not as far as what they told you, just as far as they probably flipped out and threw a chair or something. Or...
Yeah. No, nothing like that.
Get out of my head.
Honestly, I've never really had anything wild happen like with me individually, but when I was working in home-based services, so I was going out to the homes with families and pulled up, ready to do my session with my client, and her mom was actively putting her out. Like, they were on the porch arguing.
Oh, wow.
Like, had to take the kid. Now my responsibility because the mama, like, she can't stay here. So I had to take her to, like, a shelter. Like, I had to do that whole process as if she was my child. And that was a lot for me. It was actually one of the turning moments of being like, yeah, this is not really what I signed up for.
How do you deal with that when you go through? How do you deal with that?
It was a lot. I was so stressed because you're taking on some of her emotions too. Like, your mama just put you out. She telling you can't be here. Literally, you in my car with your bags of items. Like, she was feeling abandoned, So I'm like, okay, now where we headed? And I got to figure out where she going and, convince her to stay because she could have left out of there too. So now I'm feeling like her safety is on me. Like, it was heavy.
I mean, you get to clock the mileage though, right?
That ain't a lot.
Hey.
That's not a lot, but it was heavy, and I felt so bad for her. But yeah, that was one of the ones that she was actively. She was actively putting her out, and I had to figure that out.
Now the world recently went through a pandemic. The only pandemic question I truly got for you is, did the number of clients go down or did they rise?
They skyrocketed.
On average, how much did you have before versus when they skyrocketed?
Well,
for you and I guess the whole industry.
During the 2020 year, I was only doing it part-time and I was full. So that looks like about 10 to 15 clients. But when I
A week or a day?
A week.
Okay.
A week. But then when I moved to full-time, my books were filled. I'm seeing 25 to 30 people a week. And I'm talking about people still calling. Like, when I set my phone off the hook, they're calling. They're on the website. Hey, they want a black therapist. I'm looking for a good fit. Like, the people want therapy. Like, that's a true thing.
Now, I did hear during the pandemic year, domestic violence went up. Do you think that was true or just tabloids talking?
I could see that. People are home a lot more with each other with no outlet, right? At first, we weren't supposed to be outside of our homes. So now that whatever it is that's causing y'all to have that irritation or that conflict, the likelihood of it happening is much more frequent than it was if he was able to go out to his friend's house, right? We also know that, as a children's organization, our concern were for the children who live in environments like that, were they safe? Because who calling CPS if they at home? right? When they go to school and report things, then people call CPS, but everybody was doing virtual learning, right? So we were very concerned about the children.
I actually got a question. It's kind of a little bit off topic, but me and him, we spoke before about younger people. And a lot of people from past generations would like to impose to younger people, oh, you ain't been through nothing. Oh, hush, you ain't been through nothing. Have any of your younger clients expressed that to you? Like basically saying, look, I'm not being heard out because they say I'm too young. They think I don't have problems. Have you ever been in that situation?
Yeah, all the time. So the young ladies like me a lot, and I do. I care for them so much. It's just something about, I think, having been there myself, you know. But probably 3 weeks ago, I did a session on a Sunday with a group of girls, 15 and 17, and that was the main thing. Like, my mama is talking about she been here before she know. That was, she graduated in 2004. That's what they get. So shit was a long time ago.
I'm feeling old.
Listen, she's like, you graduated in 2004, but trying to like bridge some of that. She doesn't understand exactly what you're going through because the times are different.
Right.
These kids live in a different time. But the essence of what she's saying is, honey, you got to make better choices because you are the person that determines your likelihood in your life. You deal with the outcomes, not your friends. She's right about that. But the situation is a little bit different. Y'all online more. Y'all doing things we never thought to do. So it is different in that sense. But I try to provide a space for them so that they can, be heard. But I also try to do a little bit of, correcting and just, hey, this is probably where she's coming from. You guys should talk about it when you get home. And that's the thing about confidentiality. I'm never sharing unless it's an absolute emergency with my teenagers' parents. But I do encourage them to talk to their parents. So if she comes in and she tells me something that is, I guess, kind of alarming, I'd say, but like, you don't think you should tell your mama? No, Miss Dominique, I'm scared. Okay, well, you want to have her in? We can talk to her together. You bring her in and we can chat about it. Like, I feel more comfortable if we do that. Okay, have her come in. We
Now,
can talk about it.
if I guess prior to you say you have your own practice. Prior to you having your own practice, could you see yourself being a therapist at like a school, possible like a counselor, therapist?
Yeah, I actually think I might return back once I.
Oh, you did it before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
No. Well, in my practicum, I did. I worked at a school at an after-school program for a while. And when I worked at the Children's Center of Wayne County, we visited our kids at school. So I wasn't a school counselor there, but definitely in the environment. But I'm in the process of building my practice, so I'm taking on some more therapists, and I'm hoping that at some point they'll make my money over here and I can actually go back and work in the school. Okay. I want the summer breaks and the, you know what I mean, all that stuff. So
all the benefits.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, my friend who does therapy in Oregon, most of his clients, at least when he was in Arizona, he had like the worst clients. I don't know, because I was on the phone with him a few times, and then afterwards he told me, oh yeah, my clients is like ex-fiends and alcohol.
But is he like a substance abuse counselor? Is that his?
See, I never knew.
Okay.
I probably asked him today.
Okay.
I just know he's in the same field as you. I don't specifically know, but I think they just stick on with the people he worked for. They just gave him the worst of the worst clients because he is who he is. Like, he has a lot of Detroit still in him. Like,
Okay.
I'm like, man, you got to be more professional at work. You show up with Dickies on, like.
Oh, wait, hold on. He's showing up. Hood
He
tie.
a different breed.
Man, what type of
But
stuff?
I mean, he got his
depends on where you are.
he got his degrees though. But yeah,
But
he got
you-
his degrees. But he.
But that's not all the way bad. Sometimes you just want a common person to dress all
That-
common.
it's all-
Yeah, that's true. You want to relate to
That's
the
not
people.
all bad.
Yeah, some people love that. They walk in and
Like,
like,
I'm
oh, you
just a
got your
regular-
sneakers on? Yeah.
I'm a regular
But
person.
I feel like it's that scenario. You ever go to like a store for any other group of people, but they send a one black employee to assist you? I feel like it's that for certain people. Like, oh, I'm gonna send this guy for you because I feel like he can relate to you. Like, don't
But you said
target.
he's in Oregon, right?
He's in Oregon now. He
Okay.
just moved there like 2 months ago, but he's been in Arizona for almost 10 years.
Okay.
Doing it out there.
Okay.
Now I remember you said you got a client, patient, responsibility to keep it between you two. But let's just say a patient of yours say they committed a crime and they confessed it to you. Is it your obligation to run to the police, or do you just keep that on the hush?
Unless they've given some detail and they need some support, I stay out of it.
And the reason why I asked that
Is that
question,
legal to stay? Okay.
because that series Monsters came on Netflix about the Menendez brothers, and the therapist, the police came and got involved, and he testified.
Yeah, but they probably subpoenaed him and they probably got notes from him too, which is a real thing, right? And that's why I tell people, Therapists, you got to be intentional about what you put in those notes, right? Because somebody could definitely say, hey, we're subpoenaing you, and the conversation is there, which I think keeps some people from coming to therapy. Let's be honest, right? And the other part is for the client, obviously I want you to come in here and be transparent, but you also have to know that there's responsibility around that too, right? So it's a two-way street. Absolutely two-way street. But the times with, especially my minors, where I have to break confidentiality is when they're life-threatening or harming someone else.
Right, yeah.
So,
Or going to harm somebody else. How's that ever happened in your case?
nope, not in my case. But of course, when I was at, the center of Wayne County, it was a lot happening around me, and we were definitely in some duty to warn kind of situations.
Because I was going to say, let's say a woman or a man come in with, some marks on them, somebody, clearly they've been beaten up or whatever. Is it your obligation to report that or no?
No.
No, you
That's her responsibility.
got you.
Yeah. And we're talking about an adult woman?
Yes, an adult. Yeah. Oh, for children, it's different.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, if she tells me that, it was my mama that put these marks on me, then, yeah, that's a CPS report. She's been, I saw her, she had marks on her neck, and, yeah, this was the time she saw me, and they handle it from there.
No.
I just have a duty to report.
Okay, so you don't have to necessarily go report that to anybody else. I was going to say that's a wild scenario, knowing that in your bones, that somebody's not being done right, and you can't do anything about it. How do you handle that?
I think some of it is prayer.
Okay.
Some of it is also talking with that person and encouraging them to do what they see is best, right? And sometimes it's talking to people about their worth, and not just women, men too. You're right. You deserve more than that, because you responded or talked back. Now you. Yeah. No, that's not okay. So just helping them build their self-worth and changing their narrative around what they deserve has been a big part of the work. So
I do just got one more question for you. Pretty much about suicide. Have you ever talked to someone out of suicide?
Often.
Is it so? That's a common thing.
It's a real thing, yeah. Especially when we're talking about adolescence.
I shouldn't have said that on live. Keep forgetting I'm on.
Adolescence. Because of the work I was doing with DBT, so dialectical behavior therapy, that is the population we work with. And I was working in a home-based program, so that's our kids who are more intensive, in and out of the hospital, a lot of family concerns. So we were talking with kids pretty often about, creating safety plans, trying to give them as many coping skills as we could. But some of them absolutely got to a point where, like, I just don't want to be here. So I got comfortable having that conversation. Do you want to die, or you just tired of what's going on over here?
So do you got contacts to, like, shelters? Because, people from all situations can come in needing your assistance, and then you got other avenues. Oh, I know the shelter. I know this number, that number. I was just, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this situation that happened last week with the two kids,
I was about to ask about with the van.
Yeah. Made us even more, like, conscious of, okay, let us make sure everything's in order.
Yeah, we can.
That we have what we need. Yeah.
That's an unfortunate situation.
One more, I guess, at this the 13-year-old in Pontiac. Do you know much about that?
No, tell me.
Nah, I don't want to tell
Oh,
you.
don't okay.
We can't speak about that on camera, but off camera we'll break it down.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations that we don't want to get.
I just want you to think what he might have went through to become who he is, but that
we can talk about it for sure.
It's an interesting scenario.
But I do have a question too for the people out there who don't know much about therapy and want some more information about therapy. What can they do to research therapy and to feel better about going to therapy? What are some of the things you would tell them that they don't know about therapy to make them feel better about it?
I would tell them some of it, which we've already gone over, that it is definitely led by you. It is not a situation, like, I want us to change our view in the image that we have about therapy, which is it's a person talking to themselves, or it's a person who can't get out of the bed. Yeah, that's one extreme. The other is a person who just wants to make some changes in their lives and wants some support in doing that. Therapy itself is talk therapy. It's kind of like what we're doing today, right? Talking back and forth, learning more about experiences. And if you are interested in therapy, I think you could Google it, but having a consultation with a person who you think might be a good fit is probably the best way, because they're going to tell you exactly how they'll get it done, right? So if it was me and you called and said, hey, having a hard time with some childhood trauma, I feel like I might have some depression. I learn a little bit more and I say, okay, listen, this is what I think we should do. We should meet, have an intake. Intake is usually 50 minutes. We go over, the things that have happened and what's going on. And at the end of that, we do a treatment plan. So that'll tell us how often we'll meet, whether that be bi-weekly or weekly. And from there, we just keep doing the work. And we do quarterly check-ins. So I'll know if you feel like you're making progress. And if it's not a good fit, then we'll find somebody else.
I know earlier you mentioned a deductible. I didn't know that. I guess insurance would cover therapy.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Because I got insurance in my occupation, and I just never even thought to.
Yeah.
It's just for an injury. That's the only reason why I would have ever used my insurance. But I
No,
didn't.
it definitely. They cover, most insurance plans cover some form of mental health.
Okay.
But dependent on the exact plan, some require a co-payment. Others require you meet your deductible. So I have some people who, despite the deductible, they pay $25 every session. Insurance covers the rest. Other people, until their deductible is met, they have to pay whatever that fee is that Blue Cross agreed to. So it might be like $125.
Okay.
So it can get expensive depending on the plan.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
That makes sense.
But yeah, insurance does cover mental health.
I do got one more final question. I don't want you to analyze me too much, but I don't make eye contact with people a lot when I talk. I'm capable of it. Like right now, I'm capable of it. I just don't like to do it. Does that mean I have an issue or something wrong with me in your opinion?
I don't think it's anything wrong with you.
Sorry,
I
these
got
wrong words.
I got the impression that you were up here more than you were.
I'm always up here
with me. Yeah. So I mean, I don't take it any way, but like when you did talk to me, you were here. But the other times I saw you kind of like moving and kind of just like, I'm like, he's thinking or he's processing is what I assume.
My mind, like I'm here. I can have a good conversation with you, but I'm also thinking about quantum physics and thinking about.
I could tell you were in different places, so that's what that meant to me.
You think I should just wear shades so that people might have to?
No, I think
get
it's
some buffs, y'all.
I think it's fine, but are you okay if somebody was to call it out? Like, bro, you here? You good?
Oh no, yeah, I'm always present and alert.
Yeah.
Even though I may ask people to repeat a question, but that's just my whole life. I don't like to make eye contact with you. I do it because I know people want to be acknowledged. That's why I do it. But for the most part, I can look away. And to me, a lot of times when people talk and I really want to pay attention, I would close my eyes. Because when I hear people, if I hear the murmurs and other things, that's my body reading you. Some people got to visually see people. I can just close my eyes and listen, like, okay, this is a nervous person or whatever, however I sum them up.
Just don't close your eyes when you're driving, bro. Don't do it when you're driving.
If the music good.
Especially if you're in the car with me. Like, nope. So we ready to pull some questions?
Oh, yeah, we can pull some questions.
All right, we just.
What are we doing, 2 each, or what y'all want to do?
I feel like doing 2 or 1.
But just so y'all know, whatever questions, when we pull questions, everybody got to answer the question, though.
Oh, we can do 1.
Yeah, all right, because we go down the road. But before we do that, let me press my favorite theme song.
My nigga.
There you go. There you go.
Oh.
Mine says, name some artists you wish people knew more about. I feel like, did we answer that before?
I want to say we did. If you want to pull another one?
I'll pull another one. I feel like we answered that before. I'm going to leave that out.
And did we get to everything that felt important to y'all?
Yes. I honestly had another notebook with questions. I don't know what happened to it. Or it might be on my phone. This is the new phone. Now that I think about it, the questions was on my old phone.
Okay. I just want to make sure in case there were any more questions.
What we would like to do is if there's anything that we missed, we definitely want to have you come back.
Okay.
Because I do feel like, we've been here for almost 2 hours, but it just went by like.
It did.
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
Mine says, what is y'all honest opinion about women wearing bonnets in public?
Ooh.
It's ghetto.
Thank you.
It's very ghetto.
We don't like it. I mean,
Man, what's up with these questions?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this though: women who wear bonnets in public, to me, you appear easy. I'm sorry, y'all are like layups. I call y'all layups.
It look like you ain't put no effort to go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
get yourself together.
To me, y'all just very easy. I feel like if I talk to you, we could like do stuff within 48 hours. Ooh. I'm sorry. That's my honest opinion. Stop doing it if you don't want to appear like that. To me.
Yeah, I don't love it. As I'm talking to my 18 to 25-year-olds about attracting the kind of men that they want, the bonnet's not going to do that. So leave the bonnet, leave the headscarf.
I mean, well, yeah, you're right.
No. You just said, you heard what you just
said.
Yeah. Like, yes.
Do you want them for a night or two or till your life is through? Think about it like that.
I'll give you another one. People walk out of the house with pajama pants.
Oh,
That's another.
Yeah,
one, too.
it's the same thing, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a mattress set.
But some women purposely dress down because they don't want people to talk to them, but they still gonna talk to you. Men talk to women that don't care what you look like.
We don't care. We really don't. Actually, when it comes to me
Some of us.
personally, that's how you normally look. I'm like, oh, okay, let me go over here and see what's up to her, you know? So that's just me. Anybody else want to go? Everybody cool with that?
The bonnet question, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I can go.
Go ahead.
What's the worst date you ever been on?
If you want to change that question, you can.
It's up to you.
Let me see what else you got.
All right. You can throw that back in
I
there.
have that option.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody else can go while I figure this out.
Well, I'll go. Have you ever got into it with your neighbors?
Once, an old neighbor, he accused me of something and it wasn't me. And in the moment when he was accusing me, another kid walked up and said, "Oh, that was me." And I was like, "Now get the F out my face." And I was only like 16 at the time talking to a grown man like this. So,
Oh, you was ready to get down, huh?
no, I mean, I'm a very calm person when people accuse me of stuff, especially if I know I didn't do it. Like, bro, I didn't do it. I kept saying I didn't do it. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. It was you. Then when he found out, he didn't apologize though. So
He did.
I don't remember ever getting into it with my neighbors, but I will say, I had that one neighbor had that one kid, like Dennis the Menace.
Ooh.
He don't respect people's property, so
yeah.
we basically had to talk to the parents about that. But I never really got into it with my neighbors.
I remember when I was a kid, I had one kid I wanted to beat up real bad, but his cousins was big. I'm like,
Hey, why you
your
want to
cousins
beat
was because he is just evil, man. He's lied a lot. I'm like, man, I want to beat you up, but then your cousin's gonna beat me up.
Or you can call your older cousins to beat them up.
I didn't roll like that back then. I didn't even think like that back then.
So yeah, everybody just get down on me. So everybody asks a question. Oh, y'all ever got into it with y'all neighbors before?
Nah.
No, not you.
They weren't necessarily neighbors. They were, we all caught the bus in the neighborhood. But yeah, nothing too crazy. No, not really.
No.
Yeah. What's your favorite childhood memory? You know what? I really loved when they used to have the swimming pool come on the block. Y'all remember that?
What? Swimming pool in a truck?
Yeah, the truck that used to come on the block.
I don't know
I know
where
what
you
you're
grew
talking
up.
about, but that's before my
You grew
time.
up in Disneyland.
That was before my time.
I don't know what it was called. It was a big swimming pool. They would come and park it on the block.
I gotta
Like
look
the
this
block
up.
club would do it. No. They didn't do it on the Hayes and Queens side. They used to do it on the Hayes.
This is an East Side thing, or what is this?
I thought they did it I thought they did it in all the neighborhoods.
I didn't grow up out here.
Oh.
I've only been in high school out here till pretty much now.
Where you grew up?
Yep, somewhere else. Yeah, yeah. In Michigan.
Okay.
I don't like to disclose that. I've had a stalker. That's why
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know where you live
I'm
at.
very private.
No, it's okay.
You
But
talking
yeah.
about this? I know this right here.
Let me see.
I seen this on Hey Arnold.
I ain't never seen that.
They
Yeah, I've
showed
seen
this
it
on
on
Hey
TV.
Arnold. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they used to come to.
They would charge, or you just hop in it.
No, the block club would usually pay for it to come.
Okay.
Right, you could come, the kids come, jump in there, and by the time they're done, it's just a black kid. It's just.
That whole block
And
was
it's
lit,
major
huh?
because a lot of us don't know how to swim, right? Or didn't, right? So it wasn't major.
Cause I know I don't know how to swim.
Yeah, learn how to swim,
Yeah,
people.
that's on the list. What's it called though? Is the name on there?
Just call it a swimming pool.
Okay, swimming pool truck.
Truck.
Yeah, swimming pool truck.
Swimming pool truck.
Get in the truck.
Swimming pool truck.
I don't think that would fly nowadays. Today,
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think. Childhood memory that I liked. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know. My whole childhood was very carefree.
I like that.
I have several good moments.
I got
Do
one.
you have siblings?
Yeah. I'm a middle child.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm middle. Yeah.
I got one. You gonna laugh your ass off.
What?
The first time I ever saw Friday. Friday #1.
Oh, you
No,
remind me. I was in like 6th or 7th grade when I first saw it.
Everybody that knows me knows that Friday #1 is my favorite movie of all time. And I can literally break down the time when I actually went to go see it.
Really?
See, me being a West Sider, it was this Blockbuster on Livernois. And I remember going to the Blockbuster, renting the videotape, going to that McDonald's right across the street, getting McDonald's and coming home and watching that. First time I ever saw Chris Tucker, I thought he was the funniest man
Yeah.
ever.
I hate his voice.
Ever. I rewound that tape back and forth till it busted. So yeah, that was a good childhood.
Blockbuster, man.
I really don't got one. I just remember like playing wrestling, like with the chairs and stuff, like actually hitting each other with them. That was
Oh
fun.
damn, y'all was wrestling for real.
Yeah, we had the belts and all. Like That was mine.
I'll say mine. Now that I'm thinking, we played Manhunt one time, and 2 of the fastest kids in the city, they were chasing me because we were on opposite teams, and I outran them. Like, my lungs felt like they was bursting, but I just didn't want to get caught, and I outran them. I felt good.
What
in that
about
moment.
you?
I told you.
She said the
You
football
did.
truck.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did go first. I got one more to add about what you just said. High school, we had a senior versus junior. Senior versus juniors. Basically, what it was we had a big field out in the back, and we tried to wrestle each other. And there's one particular time I'm getting there early in the morning, and I'm like, I think I told you a story. Early in the morning, I'm like, what's going on, y'all? And all of a sudden, one dude I know, he said, hey, they coming. Who coming? All of a sudden, I remember getting picked up and slammed like, oh, hey, man. What all I wanted to do was listen to my burnt CD. They broke it.
What was you, a senior or a junior?
I was a senior.
Oh, wait, but it got slammed by a junior?
What happened was, this is what happened.
Yes.
What had
yes.
happened was, I was caught off guard.
Oh, man.
He
You made your whole class look bad.
No, he grabbed me from, pause. He grabbed me from the back and picked me up and slammed. I'm like,
Yeah, pause button.
yeah, pause. I need my pause. But yeah, that's how that happened. Then I'm like, okay, I'm being serious now. All right, let's go. Then that's how that happened.
Okay.
Do we got another question?
Yeah, we got mine. It says, "What's your worth?
What's your worth?
What's your worth?"
What?
What's your word?
A lot. Unlimited? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. You sure you want that question? What's your
Nah,
worth?
I really didn't, but I ain't.
You're more than welcome to pick another one.
You could, yeah, throw that question out. We don't need that
Oh.
back in. That's what's your worth?
I wonder,
Priceless. If nobody's saying priceless, something's wrong with you.
I wonder who wrote that one. I'm just curious to know who wrote that.
Because you said we leave one too, right?
Yeah, you
Yes,
can write one for
yeah,
future
after.
guests. Yeah.
It says, "What's the best acting you seen?" Y'all got Hulu? On Hulu?
Yeah, I got Hulu.
It's a show called Pretty Little Fires Everywhere. That's probably the best show I ever seen.
And what is it about?
So basically, it's like these 2 different families. Kerry Washington is in it, and Reese Witherspoon is in it. And Kerry Washington and her daughter moved to a different town. And Reese Witherspoon is in a wealthy family, if I'm not mistaken. And she has 3 kids. And basically, they just interact with each other. And it's a lot.
show.
It's a lot, yeah.
So was the acting good for both of them? Or
Oh, it was fire. It was fire.
Fires? Pretty Little Fires?
I used to have a crush on Kerry Washington.
Oh, yeah, she used to be pretty.
The first movie I saw her on was She Hate Me. It's about a dude who
yeah.
just watch it. She Hate Me. Y'all gonna like that movie. Well, yeah, I'll say it's about a dude who he was like a CEO, lost his job, needed money, and she was his ex. She popped back up and she was like, "Hey, you wanna donate some sperm?" And he got like 20 women pregnant.
I remember that movie. I remember that. Was Anthony Mackie in that?
Yeah, Anthony
Yeah,
Mackie.
yeah,
That's the
I
first time I
remember
saw
that movie. Yeah, I
Anthony
remember that
Mackie and Kerry Washington.
That came out back in 2004.
Yeah, that's a good movie. But the best acting I ever saw is a movie called Old Boy. Not the American version. They butchered it. I think it's originally a Korean movie called Old Boy. Forward to the end of that movie, and y'all gonna know the scene I'm talking about. This guy was like begging and pleading and what's the word? Groveling? Man, he flipped out. I can't say what led to that moment where he flipped out. That was the best acting I ever seen in my life. And I don't know his name, but I wish I could learn his name.
For me, I'm going to say Denzel Washington and Malcolm X.
The whole movie or a specific scene?
When he, I would say the part where he was doing one of the speeches. He ad-libbed it. I can't remember which one it was, but Spike Lee said he ad-libbed most of that speech. Malcolm didn't say that.
Oh, for you actors, just so y'all know, y'all got to start ad-libbing y'all scenes because y'all get writer's credits when y'all do that.
Yeah, he said he just was in the zone. He just started talking, and he said, wow, we got to put that in the movie.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You know who else is good? Jason Weaver. I think that's his name, dude, who did Lion King voice.
Yeah, the one that played
yeah.
Michael Jackson.
I was going to talk about Michael Jackson because he just,
I'm trying not
that's
to
my
date
first
myself
time.
over
I don't know. I just really like him.
I think.
here. Try not to
You know,
date
I give you another one. I like that scene in Lotto Ticket where Bow Wow and Brandon T. Jackson got through.
He's mentioned a lot of times.
I like that.
No,
I like that.
no,
They
I
actually
can't
like,
believe you did that.
yeah, I did. I actually
So
like
who?
that.
What scene? The whole movie?
No, not the whole movie. I'm talking about the scene when they was on the roof getting into it. I'm gonna tell
Brandon
you.
T. Jackson's acting?
No. What happened
Just the
was,
whole-
this is how I know it was realistic to me because they was at each other's face, really spitting in each other's face. Pause.
You
And I'm
mentioned
just
Lotto Ticket though, man. I can't.
I said that
We
particular
talking
part.
about? Okay, go
That
ahead.
particular part.
I was
Go
trying
look
not
at it
to date
again.
myself.
Go look at it.
I really liked Angela Bassett in the Tina Turner movie.
Oh, was Love got to do with it?
Yeah. That I like all those old kind of movies though, like Sparkle and like all
I like the
that.
Sparkle with Mike Epps in it. He played
The
a
new
good
one.
character.
Yeah.
I liked his character.
Yeah.
When that come out?
A few years ago, like 2014, 13.
No, I got a question for y'all. What musician, rapper, or singer who you think that's a good actor?
Oh,
Common, you okay?
I like Jennifer Hudson as an actress.
Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
Oh, you ever seen her movie? What's the name of the movie? The Incredible Adventures of Mr. and Pete. Watch
Never seen
that.
that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
What's it on?
I don't know what's it on. I don't think it's streaming.
I like Mary J. Blige when she was in Power.
Power.
Yeah.
Who do I like?
Besides Ice Cube,
Ice Cube straight.
Who else? Oh,
Alicia Keys was in
what's the dude name that's in Wu Tang? The rapper from Cali.
Jizza.
Method Man.
He played Method Man on the Wu Tang.
Oh, you talking about Davies?
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here.
You don't think he did a good job?
Get out of here. In the Wu Tang.
Yeah.
But he not.
You didn't think he?
I'm talking about out of all the rappers, I guess.
Oh,
You can count that, man.
I mean, I'm saying to me, he's
count
not
that.
one of the best. He didn't have a lot of portrayals.
But that's okay. But he.
Cause you got Queen Latifah outdid him. You got Alicia Keys was in.
You talking about
did
overall? She just talking
It
about
was
that.
good. It was
part.
good. It was
Yeah, I
good.
thought he did good.
Actually,
For
Queen
sure.
Latifah is a good one too.
She is.
That's another good
She's
pick.
versatile too. I like her.
Yeah.
I'll just say Common or Mos Def. I can't really think. I know it's somebody else right now. They're not coming to mind.
Nah. Are we good on that?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
good.
All right, now I got it. Now I got it. One that's gonna rattle everybody up.
Oh my.
Which one is the worst one? Oh, now everybody really sweating now.
50 Cent did good. Well, I'm not gonna do people in their own biopics.
I don't love Fantasia acting. I think her voice is amazing, but sometimes the acting is just off.
I never seen her. What she acted?
She was in Color Purple.
She was.
I didn't watch that new one. I ain't watch it.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
News to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Some people don't like Beyonce's acting.
No.
I thought she did good in Obsessed.
I never seen it.
It was yes.
No, I didn't.
That's my first
That's
time.
one I gotta watch.
When I saw that movie, I was like, "Oh, she is attractive." It had took me. I never found her to be a beautiful woman, but then when I saw her in Obsessed, I was like, "Oh, I see what everybody sees now." It took all that time to see. You know, some people you just got to meet them in person. Like, oh, okay, I see it. Okay.
It's funny.
Any more?
I can't think of nobody with bad acting.
They're
I
out
can't
there.
think. They probably exist. I just can't think of. Oh, but that movie was called the Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete. With what you say? Not Fantasia in it. With
Jennifer Hudson.
Hudson.
Okay.
She lost a lot of weight though. Because I saw her in that movie, I was like, dang, what happened? Is she on sniffing something? You know, she was. Her weight was down, but it was a good movie. All right, y'all. It's been a good show.
But yeah, one more time for our people out there, if they want to get in contact with you, what would they have to do?
You can go to my website, My Healing Matters, at myhealingmatters.com, or on Instagram at My Healing Matters. And I also have a Facebook page, Healing Matters.
Healing Matters, y'all hear that? And also, I want you to peep the drip she got on today, Mental Health Matters. Hey,
Do you do walk-ins?
No walk-ins,
No walk-ins.
but you can schedule a consultation online.
Okay. Can they walk in the schedule? Is that
No, mostly because I'm usually scheduled with somebody.
Okay.
So when I'm in the office, I'm usually in a session. So it's easier to email or book online.
And do you allow pets in there?
I mean, I ain't never had nobody ask. Yeah, they can come in.
Okay, I ain't know.
Yeah, the building is pet friendly, so yeah, they could come in if they needed to.
now Jacoby, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything?
Nah.
Instagram.
Just support sis. The best therapist it is out there.
No Twitch, no
Nah.
PlayStation ID, nothing.
Nah. I be fooling, man. I be fooling.
That's all good. But again, we would like to thank our guests being on the show, Dominique and Jacoby. Thank you so much for being on the show. Claps. And also, too, we'd like to thank you all for joining us. Hey, if you have problems, anything at all to do with therapy, please go get yourself checked out. Until next time, I'm your boy Adrian, a.k.a. D,
I'm Stubbs.
and we out of here.
Peace.
Peace.